What up, big dog?
I'm coming.
How you doing?
Hang on.
You're
I'm
here, dude.
coming. I'm coming. Hang on. Hang on.
That's a really weird thing to start the show with.
Oh, was I on that time? Sorry.
Yes.
I was updating the description of our episode with a little bit of context what we'll be doing today.
Got it. Yeah, I accidentally put the title screen on, but without a loop. So after 30 seconds, it went off, and I was just like sitting here looking at my other screens, and then I looked, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm live right now. So if you watch back the first minute, you'll see a little bit of a shock dom. Thankfully, I have pants on. Um, but
You
yeah,
lie.
good evening. Good
Lies,
after
lies, lies.
Good evening, good afternoon. How's it going? We got Elena in the chat, and Bag and Brofit. How you guys all doing? What's going on?
Good evening, everyone. This is this is a cool change from the morning. We'll see what happens in the afternoon. A little bit more awake. Maybe we'll get a bit deeper. I have until about 6 o'clock, so we'll see how long we're
6 o'clock my
shortly
time,
going.
or your time, or Ryan's time?
I don't know. I don't know. Time zones really, like the amount we texted about time zones in the past half an hour is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It's so tough, like having friends in different time zones.
Yeah, but how cool is that? It's like, yeah, I got friends. I got friends in places.
Yeah, exactly. I do. I do have friends in places, but sometimes communicating with them is really tough. All right, so let's jump right into it. We already did the pre-morning fluff show. Let's get right down to business, brass tacks. Um, I'll let you in a little bit of where I'm coming from, and then I feel like you can take most of the show to talk whatever you whatever you think. But I uh I come from a family that is not well versed in money. It was never really part of a growing up conversation. Like we had chores, we had allowance, we had some stuff like that. But as far as like savings and budgeting and, this and that, like, retirement funds, stock investments, portfolios, all of that, like none of that was ever talked about or in my mind, like seen. I was mostly raised by my mom. My dad a little bit, but my dad actually just like annoyed me more than anything. So I kind of just tuned him out. I think we've talked about that enough. So I've kind of just flown by the seat of my pants my entire adult life. I went to college, racked up a bunch of debt with all those fun little credit cards they send you once you turn 18, and then have just spent my time ever since then just paying debt off, putting debt back on, paying debt off, putting debt back on. And I don't know, I think I'm maybe starting to wise up, or I'm just more so seeing that, like, the time of not working or retiring or income going down as opposed to income going up is coming in the future, plus a lot of huge expenses with, the 3 children, colleges, weddings, cars, grandchildren. Um, it's stacking up, and so I'm starting to try to have more deeper conversations and actually find something that sticks with me, my wife, and my family about how we can budget and save and think more towards the future.
Yeah, I connect with all of that. Yeah, so very similar to you. I grew up in a family who was good with money, like never starved. I would say that my parents were like good savers, and they were smart about where they spent it. Um, like I always remember my dad growing up and talking about like mutual funds. And as a kid, you don't really know what that means, right? But uh, although they were really great with money, we never really had any like in-depth conversations about how to actually do that. Like when I look at my parents, especially my mom now, like she's enjoying the fruits of all that labor. Like she invested, she saved, she you know did all of those really healthy boxes, and
Mm,
then she's like I think she has cruises booked for like the next 5 years for the rest of her life.
dang.
That's kind of what she's been doing with her time. And my dad's retired, and he's loving life. He's more of a homebody. He's got into watching birds
Mm,
and staying up with the news in various ways. But like from all outward appearances, they seem to be enjoying it. They definitely have like different visions of what they want to do, which is totally fine. Um, but like they're definitely not an older couple that's struggling or still has to work. So when I
yeah.
think about my next 10 years or so, not even 10, we're going way into the future, 20, 25. It's like, okay, this looks pretty good. How can we set ourselves up? And at what point in my past should I have started doing this? That's that's kind of where I'm at here. And like you, we are we have three kids, we have five
Hmm.
animals, we have a house, we have vehicles, and the struggle that I think that we were both kind of getting open with today, maybe uncomfortably, is all the things that happen that makes the month sometimes difficult or the year difficult. At the very Ryan's getting in, cool. We're gonna have three turners here.
Oh, I'm not a
But
Turner.
with all of those things, it's like at the end of a perfect month, we aim to have what's left over and put it towards what we care about or want to do. And with all the things we load our lives with, there is a very good chance that any one of those 10 creatures or two vehicles or house is going to have some kind of an issue, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at. And I'm hoping that maybe we can kind of discuss that and how to lessen the blow of those things that pop up and sometimes surprise us. I think I told you before in the chat that I think I found a pretty good way that's working so far about kind of redirecting a budget for a family that I think I'm comfortable enough to share. It is a
Okay.
work in progress. And to anybody listening, I want you to know that none of us are financial professionals.
Not
So
financial
Damn,
advice.
I'm a financial professional.
what is this pop-up video?
He just rugged and left. Oh man.
So yeah, Kristen, my wife, might be jumping in a little bit. He's currently getting some food for the kids, so they leave us alone for a little bit, where we can potentially maybe talk a little bit about how all that stuff kind of plays along with marriage and all of the messy things in between. Because like many people, it's been a contentious point in our marriage in the past, and we're always looking to get better.
Here he comes for the third time. What's up, sir? Now I can't hear you. Did you hear him, Jason?
I'm so glad we decided to do this live and not recording. This is good. Ryan, you look great. The only thing that would make it better is your abs, but
Your voice.
we'll settle for your face. Are you muted? Nope, you're not muted, Ryan. It's all you.
It's not like he's in a new place or anything. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
He's streamed from there millions of times.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I'm sure he can get it at some point.
His wife and kids unplugged something or were messing with his workstation.
Probably.
Yeah, poor guy.
For this episode, since it's during the evening, one of us or all of us may or may not have something to attend to at some point because of families. Except Dom, you're in your office, so you're good. Where should we start, Dom?
And Plush said she's kid free, so I don't know how that worked, but that's awesome.
Where should we start today, Dom?
Hit it, dude. Let's go over some of your like maybe highs and lows, pitfalls, like where you're at, like what's your guys' focus, and then I can go over mine. Either way.
Yeah, I'll go first for sure. Okay, so money, budget, struggle, history. It's something that, and there's a few things I want to save for when Kristen jumps on too. So historically, I'm not somebody who never really got any training, large amounts of advice about managing money. I always did it kind of like how you said, you kind of figure it out as it goes. I'm a teacher, if anybody's listening that doesn't know. So there are some struggles that come along with that, but I'm trading that off for everything else that career kind of trades. There we go. Hey, Ryan.
I think I did it.
So Ryan, we're just kind of doing a little breakdown of our money history here. So, so currently, Kristen works from home. We both have stable jobs, but we have 3 kids, 5 animals, 2 cars, and the things that can possibly go wrong in a month. Something usually happens. Like there's never any regular normal month. And Kristen is on. Oh, look at the name she gave herself.
I know.
I'm going to go ahead and add you to the stage. Here we go. Jason. Here we go. What's up, Kristen? Oh, man, Ryan left again. Okay.
I had to boot him.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Talking about after dark in the wrong ways.
Ryan, what is happening over there?
That's great. Okay, cool. Well, at least we're keeping it honest. One of us is struggling. Kristen, Dom, Kristen, Ryan. Kristen's my wife and alleged prom date of my wife back in high school. But we have not proven that yet. But there is a picture of them in prom attire. So jury's still out on that.
It's for us to know.
Say it again.
It's for us to know.
It's okay, cool. All right, we'll keep it at that. Kristen, we're just kind of going over our history with money. I've already, and I have already shared. Ryan, I gotta mute you because I cannot hear myself talk. So I talked a little bit about how I grew up with money. My parents were good with money, but I don't think I ever really got a really good money talk. And one of the things I want to kind of front load this day with is maybe our relationship with money. Don't worry, we're not going to be doing any dragging people through the mud here. But I would say, to open this up, that mine and your relationship with money has not been the best in the past. In fact, I've been thinking about, like, back even when we got married, we never really talked about money. And then even like into our marriage, I think that was definitely like a contentious point that we never really communicated healthily until maybe recently. I would say like maybe your family was different with it. We've gone through multiple iterations of trying to budget. We've tried like YNAB, you need a budget. And every time that seemed to kind of come up, and kind of rightfully, I'll put this ball in your court, is that you may have always kind of felt that it was kind of like me kind of like nitpicking what you're spending money on, so like we never really had like a really good regularly productive talk about it. It was always kind of like, okay, here's our money, here's the things we got to pay for. Now we can get the things that we each want, but we never really had any really concrete goals together. Maybe ideas, but nothing ever really written down, set in stone.
True. I would say I agree. Yeah. And I came from a family that, never spoke about money. My dad really only worked, and up until my parents got divorced, my mom never worked. So my dad was like that kind of typical in the 80s, 90s, working dad, in and out of the house, sometimes traveling. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And then around middle school, high school, they got divorced. And so things had to change. My mom had to find a job and stuff, but money was never discussed. However, as I started to grow up and become an adult, it was actually a really big driver of the divorce, one of the factors. And yeah, I don't think, like you, I wasn't really raised talking about money, learning how to budget, talking about savings, or like any of that, investing. None of that came up ever in our lives. It was just like, here, you want to play soccer? You want to do martial arts? Okay, we'll do that. And then it's like I got to college and was like, there's credit cards? I didn't even know what a credit card was. So I think when you and I became a unit, and then, eventually starting to have kids and stuff, it was just something I was kind of foreign to. And I was like, oh my God, we're an adult now. We need to figure this out. I have my own 401k. What the hell do I do with it? What does this look like? But you've been better at trying to learn and educate me, where I've been like, okay, I'm just going to struggle through.
So for everybody listening, Kristen's upstairs right now with the kids and the cats and the dogs. I'm down in the basement, in a nice quiet area. Plush, Kristen, I don't know if you can see the chat in your window, but you're getting some really great compliments on your wall. So way to up the game here. Nice work.
Well, I can't see anything.
Oh, okay. Ryan, do you want to jump in? Money history, growing up with it, difficulties, successes, anything? Give us a little bit of a background, or no? You have me muted? He has me muted.
No, you're not muted. I hear you.
Ryan, are you there?
Ryan still seems to be muted.
Oh, maybe he was mad that I muted him. Ryan, are you still there? I can't unmute my guest. Oh boy. Okay.
Maybe he's having sound trouble again.
How about
It's
now?
not your night, sir.
Ryan, hello. Oh man. Well, hopefully he can hear. So me and Ryan grew up in the same household, and our careers are vastly different. Ryan he works for himself. I'm hoping Ryan jumps in here and corrects me on all this information I'm saying about him. But Ryan works for himself, dietitian, awesome with nutrition, handles clients, has quite a few like side businesses that he's that I really admire him getting into. Like he seems like he's like really into all of them. I can't tell if Ryan was pissed off or not, but now he's gone.
Say all the nice things now while he's gone. Just get it out.
Okay. So
No, he's having some trouble.
So that's where we're at.
What's funny is he jumped on this morning walking through the streets of New York and had better technology than in his home office.
Well, hopefully he joins us again. So, Dom, you asked what our successes and face plants were, but so I guess if we start with successes, number one, we're gainfully employed. Got that going for us. Okay. We're semi-safe as far as like in our jobs. We have enough money to cover everything that we need, up to even potentially putting away a generally accepted percentage for savings and stuff at 20%. And what I talked about before was all the things that pop up when you have a family and a house and cars and everything else that you want to do and wish to do and need to do. Our challenge as a family is, I would say one of them is like tracking it and making sure like we actually stick to the numbers that we give ourselves. I'm better in some things. Kristen's better in others. I would say Kristen's really good at like jumping or like taking care of like financial things quickly. Like if thing pops up, she get that done a lot quicker than I do. I would say I'm better at worrying and panicking about money as it like slowly gets eaten away from our account from like various random things that we didn't plan. Like on our budget, like we even put the dates down of where everything goes, and then it's all those things in between. Ryan, are you back? Can you hear us?
I think so.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
Ryan, before I keep talking, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience with money, whether it's growing up or college or adults or adulthood or whatever?
Yeah, I would definitely say like we did not get like a deep dive into money and finances, although we did end up hearing about it a lot. Like we'd heard about like the 401ks and pensions and stuff like that all the time. But from a fear kind of place, I remember like with like dad's job as a teacher, it was like, don't take a day off. If you do, you lose all benefits ever and we're dead. So
yeah, I got to
sort of like, yeah. So that was kind of how we learned. It was like, you can't miss a day. You need perfect attendance. And if you don't, then it's a problem. But that's kind of what I saw. And then I think from like my end, I think just growing up is like, I had learned at a younger age that if I wanted to have the things that I wanted, I needed to kind of make my own money. And like, you know, Kristen, you kind of mentioned like play soccer and all these kind of things too. It's like, that was never a question for us really. Like, it was like, all right, we're going to sign you up for the next season. And, you know, that was never a worry, which is, you know, I think that's not every kid can say that. So I think that was a huge benefit. But I did learn that I needed to kind of have my own job. My first job ever was at a restaurant in town. And then I broke my leg and I couldn't do that anymore. And then I went to the Gap and I worked at the Gap. And then I delivered pizza. And that was probably the best job ever. It was awesome. I loved that. And so that was great, but it was just making your own money as a kid. And I really wasn't putting money away at the time. It was nothing like that. But I did realize at one point that I had more money than some of my other friends because of the money that I was making. And that was definitely a really big benefit. But I would just say, like, fast forward to two things. Kristen, you mentioned things just like, you mentioned the credit cards, right? Uh-huh. So like credit cards, like that was never a discussion. Like, don't have a credit card, or when you have a credit card, do this. And if it was said, it's just something that I ended up forgetting. So then that would be my issue. But I did end up getting a credit card, I think, when I went to school at one point. And it was like hey, sign up for a credit card and get a Frisbee. I remember that. I did. and then I got my Frisbee, and then I got debt. But and so that was like, so I didn't really figure it out. But the last thing I'll say is this: is like I did become very strict with my spending and savings in particular when I got really up to New York, when I had my first job down in Washington, D.C., and then I came up here for grad school. I worked at a restaurant, and every single night that I left the restaurant, I took 50% of any money I made. I walked out of the restaurant and directly to the ATM just down the street, and I put 50% into savings and 50% into my spending. But when I look back now, I wasn't spending that much, and so it was great because I had this like huge, cushion of, just a financial cushion at some point. It's no longer like, I think once we had kids and kind of all that kind of stuff came up, then we were living a little bit more like paycheck to paycheck. So it kind of brings you up now kind of where I'm at, but hope that kind of paints the picture where I was from. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
You touched on an interesting point, Ryan, about growing up with your dad, never wanting to miss work and stuff. So that actually used to be a source of Jason and my arguments early on, because I work full-time from home in the technology, marketing, email world, and Jason's a teacher, as you all know. And so once we started having kids, yes, our income ratios are, maybe I make a little bit more than him.
A lot. Just be honest. And we all know each other.
And I started, once we had like our third kid, I would get to the point where I'm like, why am I the only one picking this kid up from school sick? Why is this? And Jason was kind of in that mentality from growing up, with your dad saying, it's like, I can never miss school. And I was like, I'm sorry, this has to change for us. Cause like, I can't be like, I guess the breadwinner, if you want to call it that, and manage the kids.
Oh,
yes, I'm home, but it's like, I need to work.
You can be a breadwinner. You're allowed to do that.
Well, I'm not trying to put you down by any means, because your work is important and you're impacting children's lives. But I think that was a shift for us in financing, and me getting him to understand, like, it doesn't matter. We still need to come as a pair and like split this work evenly when it comes to kids. And I would say the other thing, I guess I'm bringing the woman's lens, but like as a mother of children, yes, I might be looked at as the spender, but I'm the one like getting the back to school supplies, making sure that their lunch boxes are packed, this and that. And it's funny because Jason, even last week, I was like, okay, we got to do some back to school shopping. He goes, what do they need for school? Says the teacher. But there is quite literally a list for the district for each grade. So,
oh man,
if it weren't for the mom, and yes, maybe it's extra spending, but I will say often it's like on the kids, but he's good at bringing it back in where it's, hey, we can spend stuff on the kids, but we still need to budget it. So I feel like we've now come to a happy medium.
Yeah, I'd agree. It took us a few years, but I think we're finally there. Right? Who is able to edit names? This is madness.
I think it's just happening.
Okay, let's. I was talking about successes and failures. Hey, Hazel, can you turn that down a little bit? We're having a very important discussion on your future here. Thanks.
That does bring a question, right? So since all four of us basically said that it was not talked about in our households, how are we changing that? How are we talking about that with our kids? I don't think I'm doing a great job. My wife and I think, like I said, the whole reason that this came up is my wife and I are starting to have these conversations, because the same thing like what you guys were talking about, got into the relationship quick, had a kid quick, got married quick, didn't really have all these financial conversations. We're not planners as far as future. So something I'm looking to do right now, and then definitely going to be finding a way to incorporate the kids into some of that conversation. Probably going to be doing it on the fly with my my soon to be adult. I got next year she'll be an adult, so she'll have to be responsible for all of her stuff. What about you guys?
I feel like we're doing a good job. We talked a lot about childhood. So my goal in this particular, especially this summer is when I really feel like I started really kind of lasering in on this, is especially with Kira, trying to have the conversations that maybe I didn't have or wish I had, even up into high school. Like I remember taking one money course in high school where a teacher, it's like, I never had her for anything else, but she was like, if you invest now, you'll have this much money when you're older. That was great advice, but I had no, like, there was no, we weren't given any process on how to do it. And we talked about checkbooks. Mom and dad taught us how to do the checkbook. I remember like doing the checkbook, and that was good. Like that's like the basic of every money thing right there, is just how to track your money. With Kira, she's starting to babysit. She's mowing some lawns. So my goal for the family is to, like, no matter what, we pay ourselves first, 20%, whether that's savings, investments, whatever. And then come all the things that we've surrounded ourselves with, whether it's like, debts, subscriptions, goals, whichever. So with Kira, she's like at the super beginning. Anytime she gets money coming in, me and Kristen see it. We use the Greenlight app, and we tell her to put 20% away of whatever that is into her savings account. So far, it's going well. So hoping that those seeds kind of grow into money trees for her, and then kind of talking with Junie a little bit about it. The one thing that I've talked about before was some conversations we've had with the girls about money and what they hear me and Kristen talking about. They've totally heard us argue about it before. That I would say that's probably one of our face plants with money, is not really being aware of what the girls hear us talk about. It's like we would argue about it to the point where it's like the girls would say, like, are we going to lose our house? And that's not that's when you've kind of failed, where it's like everything that
When I lost my job. Most of those conversations are when I would I just lost my job and stuff. Tech space is so volatile, everyone. It's my job performance. It was just.
Hey, Kristen, you're getting a boatload of feedback on your side.
I know. I hear like Elsa, but there's no sound up here now.
I think that's Ryan.
It's because Elsa's down here. That's why. Hey. Okay.
No.
You guys chat. I'm going to take care of this down here.
No, maybe me.
No, I think it was him.
Oh, I was going to say, one thing I was going to say is I always like those like takeaways. I'm so curious about like the more concrete kind of like tricks kind of thing. And so I remember one thing in terms of like figuring out, okay, like how can we just break this down simply? And so I think Jason was just kind of saying that the 20% or so, but I've heard this before and I had to like remind myself of this just now, but like the 50, 30, 20, right? 50% goes towards needs, 30% towards wants, 20% towards savings. And I think if that ends up being something that's like broken down into like simple dollars for kids, it can be really easy to kind of like think about. It's like the same thing with like bedtime and stuff like that. It's like, what are the moments in your day to like focus on your kids? It's like the 9 minutes, the 3 minutes after they get up, the 3 minutes when they get home from school, the 3 minutes before they go to bed. And as long as we're doing that, it's good. That's like I feel like the 50, 30, 20 rule ends up being kind of a similar thing that I could remind myself of to help my kids instead of trying to like take on everything at once. So that's just my thought.
Yeah, I tried one of those things where you get like 3 different envelopes, and every time you give the kids, you put, a buck in each one or whatever. And then they just be like, I want this. And they just like grab all the money out of all the envelopes and go spend it all. Or they just lose the envelopes. And I'm like, well, I'll find them in a couple of weeks and then I'll keep the money if you can't handle it. So my kids just kind of seem to go in and out of the chore and the money mentality. And I think I had said a couple days ago, I just feel like it's too much along the lines of they just get whatever they want.
Mhm.
You know, like they're growing, so there's always like I don't fit in my pants anymore, or like a new school year and I get new clothes. But like it's summer. I don't want to wear the same clothes that I wore all school year. I need warm weather clothes and so what else do kids need? We go to I think it was Blaze one time that would say that he would like take the kids to Target and like say that he forgot his money, like his wallet, and just see like, just hang out and just kind of like window shop through Target. And it's like I mean, my kids don't believe in that. Kind of, they all know that money's on my phone. It doesn't work for me. They're like, wait, Dad, you have your phone. There's money in it.
They do know.
Teenagers.
That's
Yeah.
great. I was just thinking, because I love that too. But the thing that I was thinking about is like this idea around like just overall habits, right? So because like even with the money getting pulled out of the envelopes or losing the envelopes, whatever else is going on, I mean, like bank accounts now, it's like if you overspend, it just pulls from your savings, right? So it's like a simple thing, and I think that can set someone behind. And so it's the same thing as like getting to a point where you want to be able to like have a habit of spending well. Like we can say that and we can put the money there, but like when it really comes, to the moment of actually spending or actually saving, it's like the habit really is not the putting the money away. Like that's not it. The habit is really kind of setting us up to make sure that we are going to practice something that's going to stop us from overspending, or when we feel like we want to overspend, what is it that we're actually doing, or having someone in our life to hold us accountable. And that probably is the one area that, especially when life gets busy with kids and they're asking, right, how much money like do we have? Can we afford this? And all these answers and these emotions, they start to come up. That's the hard thing, which is kind of, I wish I had solutions for that. Like in the moment, like don't like, okay. Yeah. Anyway, I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But that's probably
like the amount of like internal dialogue that I go through when I'm at one of those contentious points of like, it's like, do I get this shirt or do I get pants? Do I deserve a shirt or pants? I don't think I deserve shirt or pants because I should get gas instead. Like those are the things that go through my head where it's like I need to eat. And like one of the things like before a few minutes ago we talked about like the deficit mindset, that's something that I've heard about with, and like deficit mindset, that's just like there's never going to be enough, or like this little windfall that we have is going to go away really quickly. Like I think it's definitely a struggle, especially just because we've been through so many like difficult times. It's really hard to change the mindset to like, hey, you know what, we're doing fine. It's like every month most months of being Kristen being married have been like, you know what? I think I need gas. I'm not sure where to get that money right from right now. I'll be totally honest. It's like it's definitely a thing that we sometimes struggle with, and we've had great months and we've had not great months. And like I'm trying to get out of the monthly frame of mind and more like in at least like the 6 monthly frame of mind. Like that seems healthy being middle-aged. And I'm sure that like tons of people do it fine. I kind of feel like an amateur actually talking about it right now, but I'm being open because this is how I'm processing it.
That's great. Can I ask a question to you?
Yeah.
I feel like the people in my life that I've seen spend money the best are the ones who knew what to spend money on, not what to not spend on. Right. So it's like, the people that would look for, I think, satisfaction a lot of the time, where it was like, okay, well, we are going to plan that vacation. and we're going to make sure that that's what we want to do. Like, we're not going to do like the one-off like vacations here or there as they pop up, right? It's that instant gratification. And I feel like when you know what you're going to put your money or your satisfaction or your happiness towards, it then reminds you in a moment, be like, oh yeah, that doesn't really give me the happiness, or we already have that planned. My child just screams. It's just how she talks now, if you can hear it.
It sounds like a
just her love language. So anyway, that's like a point that I think I always try to come back to and remind myself. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way? Do you guys like know what you spend money on? Like, one thing I know, like I've said before, I don't spend money on like shoes. I don't spend money on cars. I don't spend money on, that was it. That's all I got to.
So I definitely go back and forth. Like, in my heart, I'm like super thrifty. And I'm normally that way. It's like, I will find ways to like cut back on what I spend. And then there's times where it's like, I'm trying to think of a good example of, what was it? Sometimes I go shopping. One of the things that me and Kristen recently agreed upon, as far as like handling the load of the day and the family and the year, is she's going to do all of the shopping online. I'm going to do all the cooking, because shopping is not my strength. Like, I'll get good food, and sometimes I'll even like get like the expensive healthy stuff.
Yeah, when he says shopping online, he actually means ordering groceries.
That's what I meant. Ordering groceries.
Got it.
She gets the groceries, and then I cook. I like cooking. I feel like I've gotten really
I think he just said I can shop online, so I might have to go shopping.
You're right. Sorry. Thank you for correcting that. She gets the groceries because she knows exactly like what brands are good, what's cheaper, what store to go to for like the cheaper item of like meat. Like, was it Sam's Club is cheaper? I guess. I don't know. I feel like they all come from the same place and just sent to different big box stores.
Well, I look at the weekly ads and see what's on sale at like Safeway, King Supers. I know what's cheaper already at like Walmart versus Target. And then I use this app called Ibotta that you can get money back on certain things each week. And so like if it's on sale at Safeway or King Supers, I'll get that item from there. I'll get a coupon, but then I also get money back in the Ibotta app. So it's a little bit of a process, but then at the end of my workday, I was like, the last thing I want to do right now is figure out what the hell is for dinner. And so I'm just gonna leave that to Jason now. Giving that over.
And I'm totally fine with that. And I don't know why we didn't figure that out earlier. You know, like, I feel like
I think as the woman, I didn't want to let that go. I felt like I had to be the one that would be like cooking and stuff. And now I'm like, well, no, I don't really have to be. Why?
Yeah, I totally get that. And I'm thankful that we were able to actually finally have that discussion, because I think a lot of this stuff, like, even thinking like back to like, you know, first 5 years of marriage, it's like we really did not talk very well about all these things that make a house and a marriage work. Sometimes I even wonder how we even made it through all that, but here we are, we made it. So hopefully
Sheer brute force.
we're just kind of refreshing a bit. So yeah, Kristen is great at like finding, like, despite like our spending habit differences, like Kristen is really good at finding where to save money where it counts. Like, I cannot count the amount of times that we've been out and she's like, do you want a coffee? And like, one of the things that one thing that kind of gets under my skin is like, how much money do we spend on coffee every month? Because Kristen's a fan of it and that's how she treats herself. So how do we make that work? But most of the time she's like, don't worry, I have points. I'm like, okay, thank God. You know, so that's just one of the things that we've finally resolved as an adult middle-aged couple.
What is it that you would have asked first if you went back to figure out, like, you guys are dating before you get married? What are like 3 questions that you feel like financially you would have ended up asking to be in a spot right now where you're like, man, we really took care of that early on? Is that in your mind?
I don't think younger me even knew what questions to ask about money, especially when like we've been together since I was like 24, maybe. And those were like those questions never came up. It was more like does this does this girl like to do things? Is she active? Is she cute? Like those were the 3 questions that I asked myself for partners. Nothing like.
But what would you ask now that you know? If you
like
knew
what would you
then,
tell your
what you
kids
know
to
now?
ask?
Yeah.
I would probably like.
I think I would ask about, like, how were you raised around money? What was money talk like in your family?
Yeah, or like what's like what do you struggle with financially, or like how do you or like how do you handle financial setbacks or struggles?
Mhm.
I think it's so hard because the idea of like, I don't know. I guess a lot of people that are in my circle that try and like grow a business, all that kind of stuff, like the idea of a limiting mindset, I think is something that's understood around money. It's like a lot of people just have a limiting mindset around like, we just make money and we save money, right? But people that end up, I think, really using money well, and this is something that I would ask then, if I knew then what I know now, is how do you look at money? Do you look at money as something that you just end up spending, or are you investing in something? Are you trying to build something? Are you trying to make sure that you're making money work for you? I mean, that's a really mature question to end up asking someone when they're really young. But that would be, Kristen, like that's like what you're saying there. What's up, Nate? But like that's what I would have loved to start off with younger. But that would have started with parents, right? So it's like, okay, if there's like that 50 30 20 rule, like are we taking that 50 or the 30% that goes towards our like wants, is our wanting to now take that money and grow it, right? Investing in something. So that's probably my number one thing that I would love to have known then, which I think I want to start with my girls for sure.
Yeah. I will say I used to kind of have this mantra, you can always make more money, like make the memories with the kids. And I still feel like I have that mentality or desire, but it doesn't always work financially. I mean, yeah, you can technically always make more money. Like Jason, paint a few more pet portraits, hold an art class in the summer, whatever it may be. There is opportunity in the world to always make more money, but at what expense? To you're around the kids less, or you're working nights and then you're never home. But I do feel like I had that mentality there for a little bit. You have a dog?
This is our dog of the week. This dog broke its back and has no teeth.
Oh, it looks fierce.
Wait, I thought you said it broke its back.
Yeah, Ryan's sounds like
That's
they're making quite a nice little chunk of change watching dogs.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's going very well.
Can't do that. Our house is full.
Yeah,
You'd be surprised. You can apparently just get dogs, right? You can just dogs whenever. They're just always available. Yeah.
just on Craigslist.
Let's go find a dog, make money. That's all
I already know the look Lauren's giving you.
Ryan, can you just go walk outside for us right now and grab a dog?
It's like half ate, half confused, a quarter smelling my fart, so she doesn't really know what that smell is right now.
Questions. She needs more clarity.
This guy. No, I was gonna say, like, I was the same way early on parenting to about pretty recently, where it was like, money's always gonna come. I'm always gonna find a way to make it. Wanna use it, enjoy it, spend it. I don't want to save it, hoard it, die with it, retire with it, be old with it, pass it on to my kids. I don't want to do any of that. I want to spend it all and enjoy it with them, and then they can go and do the same. Like, I'm not going to leave them with a bunch of money. Go make your own damn money. No one left me with anybody.
Yeah.
But
Godspeed to you.
I'm getting a little concerned. Like my business is not a business that I want to do forever. Um, and I'm getting a little concerned. So that's part of the reason why the conversation started.
Yeah, I can agree with Dom on that. I'm feeling a little bit of that. I talked, and it kind of started last year. I was talking to a coworker, Joe Phillips. If you're out there and maybe listening, Joe Phillips was the gym teacher that was there when I started my first teaching gig. Great friendship, but he's now at the point where he's retiring in a few years, and he developed his 5-year plan. He's going back to Louisiana. He got like water property. He's got plans for a house. And immediately I started panicking because I was like, oh no, what's my 5-year plan? Like the one question that, like, the very first interview question you get as a kid out of college is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And like, I always hated that question. And I'm literally seeing the best possible outcome of this question with my friend Joe here. Like, what is your 5-year plan? So like Dom, I'm like, yeah, like, teaching's great. Am I going to have the energy to sustain this? I'm going to be coming on 50. Do I want to be doing this? So that is why I'm starting to kind of get these, those little hairs in the back of my neck to like get things on track. So I'm not waiting till the last minute to get like the kid through college or whatever they decide to do after high school. Like, is college even something that's necessary to us? It's like we're basically like shat through high school to go to college, but it's like, how's that going to change in the next 6 years for when our 12-year-old gets there? Like, how many?
Yeah, I don't feel like my 17-year-old is prepared at all for college or living on her own or any of those things.
Yeah. It's like what, in however many years, 20, 30 years, it's like, what questions are our kids going to be asking that we're asking now? Or like, what are they going to be saying that like we didn't give them guidance on when they're our age? And I feel like I'm trying to think of all the things that they might ask, and probably going to miss the most obvious one somewhere, whatever that obvious one is, Yeah, bro fits. Travel better than college.
Jason, you got me thinking about that question about where do you see yourself in 5 years? And my first thought was like, I always lied. I lied every single time to someone. I was like, I see myself here. And you know what? You're still my boss and I'm making you money. That's what I want. I want that for me. I want that for you. We're going to work really well together. And so like, I was thinking about like that, like asking myself that and be like, oh no, can't lie to myself now. And then I remember one time I was like brutally honest one time with somebody. They're like, what do you feel like? It was like a 5-year, 10-year thing. I was like, not here. I'm not going to be here. I want to open my own business. And I just want to be here for like a year and a half. Did not get that job. So like, there's no in between I ever like landed on. Cause I was like, they probably want to hear that I just want to like learn and not be here. They want to hear that I have ambition. And so it's just like so much like bullshitting yourself. It's like, you just can't at that point. So it's a good reminder. You got to be honest with yourself or have someone in your life to kind of call you out on your shit. So,
yeah. So we have like 6-ish minutes, maybe 10 before one of us has to go get our daughter from band camp. One thing we didn't yet hit up on are things that like, maybe like what is working. It's like, we just talked a bunch about like the frustrations, but like what's working for us as far as like, whether it's you personally or your family or professionally, both you guys have your own businesses. You have to manage a little bit extra. You got taxes, maybe you have to pay people. I probably have it the easiest. I have money going into a pension. Kristen has a 401k, which in the past we've had to dip into because of like emergencies that come up that we didn't adequately save for. It's like we've probably done everything wrong in the book at least once to do, and learned the hard way why we shouldn't do that. But like, like you guys having your own businesses, what are some things that work for you that maybe other people can learn how you manage the money? Because like we already know that like you have to secure where money's coming from. You have to find clients. So what happens after that? Like after you get your money, what are some things that might work?
Yeah,
I
got
have
nothing, man.
I have two
6
other
months
people
a
that
month.
manage my money.
Okay, so financial advisor, that's great.
Yeah, sort of. I have an account manager that just balances everything and puts it in the right place so that when tax season comes, it's nice and neat and organized, a quick download. Um, and that's just the day-to-day like easy work for him, not for me. And then my father-in-law helps me come actual tax time to figure it all out. But I think I'm looking for someone else to kind of do that so that I can get a little bit more creative on the tax law and owning my own business. And then also looking for someone who can help financially plan for those years when I need to present a more solid tax return versus a less solid tax return. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. And then, looking into financial planning to start saving for investments, properties, stuff like that. We have some friends that do a bunch of Airbnbs in different states, and it goes really well for them. So that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about during our family business trip to Hawaii. That's clearly why we're going, so that we can write it off as a business expense.
Just write everything off. Everything.
Yeah,
Everything
man.
is written off.
That deep dish pizza we had, that was a tax write-off, brother.
Oh,
We
nice.
talked so much business, you and me.
I'm
We talked
glad we,
about egg
split that.
vending machines.
Guys, if you see a hard-boiled egg vending machine in front of CrossFit gyms in the future, just know it started here. It was this guy.
Right in that mouth.
So,
Does it boil the egg for you before it gets dispensed?
well, I'll tell you what, it's not going to dispense raw.
It boils it and cracks it.
And keeps it refrigerated, or is it coming out hot?
See, that's the thing.
I don't think
I
you
think
got that
that you
one
get
out
to
yet.
choose. I think it's really good. I think that we can get it hot. You can choose a 7, an 8, or a 9-minute boil. But you know what you don't choose? You don't choose an 11-minute boil.
During Easter, can we get them colored?
Look at this. My business is growing. Thank you. I needed this. This is awesome. And by the way, if someone could walk up and just have like fresh Easter eggs made for them, dyed, people would buy that. You know, people would buy that. You know they would. Are you kidding me, Brofit? Who boils an egg for 14 minutes?
I've probably boiled eggs for longer than that, dude.
That's, you know what that's called? That's called a mistake.
I don't want to chew an egg. I want to like just massage it with my tongue and swallow it. That sounds gargle. Can we cut that out in post production?
Wow. All right.
Let's rewind that just a second there. 10 minutes.
I gotta go.
Remember that time that I said 6 minutes was an ideal time?
Yeah.
I'll concede that point. Here's some things that me and Kristen have struggled with. All the apps that help you manage money. We've done a few. They've never stuck.
Is that Kyle?
It looks like it.
Kyle's here. Oh, Kyle's in here. Kyle. Here's what Kyle is good at. Kyle is good at
Came out of nowhere. It's great.
Kyle's good at
Boiling
keeping
eggs.
I've talked and eggs. Yeah, eggs and money. Kyle's really good. Kyle knows how to do. I'll be totally honest. I could not use you need a budget correctly. Like it was great for tracking where money was going, but I could never get like the number the same as a bank account, which was really frustrating. And I tried it for 2 years. So we are back on spreadsheets. I've never really built a spreadsheet, but I spent 2 weeks, my last 2 weeks of summer break, doing a deep dive into Excel. Things that have been done for years. I'm probably rebuilding something that has multiple iterations of an app that people are making money for. but it works. We see everything and we control everything. So hoping that sticks into the future.
I would say that you making a spreadsheet yourself, though, that probably is going to land a lot better than you just downloading an app and then inputting it. So I think it's like that ChatGPT text thread that we had before. It's like we can ChatGPT things until we're blue in the fingers, but most of that's not really going to get absorbed. And then all of a sudden, what we're doing is we're having this conversation about like in the nth degree of this one topic that like you can't really retrace or you understand anymore. So that's why I don't like ChatGPT all the time.
Yeah.
So go with your spreadsheet. Good job.
Yeah, spreadsheets just going to basics. I'm giving myself a very, very late delayed budgeting 101. Hopefully for the benefit of the family, mostly, if not for more money, for less stress. And even just the fact that we can see where everything is, and I'm cutting and pasting numbers from bank accounts, that just takes away half the stress by itself, whether or not that money's going fast or slow. So that's my direction for the rest of this year.
Dom, what's your direction the rest of this year financially?
I think for me, it's going to be a process of paying off some of the debts because that's what my wife wants to do. And then filling like what I like the system that someone taught me. I think it was my financial guy, where it was just it's basically and it's been working for my business. So when I opened up my business checking account, I also opened up 2 savings accounts and I labeled them something different. And I just dump money in it every month. And it's just like a fund. So one of them's a fund for emergencies and one of them's a fund for taxes. So that way, if I just forget at the end of the year, there's just money in there for this or that. And I wanted to do that for our personal side, have one for travel, have one for home repairs and remodel, get back into putting away money for the kids' college. I don't know, just all that kind of stuff. I like the idea of having separate accounts. I think it still fits along the model of like the take 20% for yourself. And it's just like take that 20% and split it into your different buckets, retirement, all those other things. Just never got it off the ground for my personal bank account. And I think there was just, if I remember correctly, I think there's just too much friction at my bank to start to just walk in there and be like, let me open 7 savings accounts. And they're like, okay, that'll cost you $7,000. I'm like, because you need a minimum of 1,000 in a savings account. I'm like, what? Why? Fine, I'll just get a couple of shoe boxes. But that doesn't work because I don't carry cash. So
Kristen, I know you have to go in a little bit to pick up Kira. What you got anything? I talked most of the past 20 minutes. What's your point of view? What are ideas that you have? Disagreements? Thoughts?
On money, budgeting?
Money, budgeting, what we do, what we don't do.
I think we're in a much better place now because we have taken the barriers down where I feel like we used to talk about it in a shameful way where, I would feel like you were coming at me a little bit. You're like, what is this? What is that? And so like, you're immediately kind of on the defense, but you were coming from it in a good space where it was like, no, I just want to understand like what are we spending money on? Where can we cut back? So I feel like we've taken those barriers down that make our conversations more meaningful and less like combative, to be honest. So we're able to have the hard conversations, dig into the hard stuff. I also think I've done a better job of like, hey, I'm wanting to do this month. Is that something we should budget for? Is it not? And vice versa. Like, I think you can ebb and flow too. You're not really a spender. You don't really buy clothes and stuff. I'll buy clothes for you. But, now it's more like, hey, do you need clothes or not? Because my love language is gift giving. So we've come around to, okay, well, gift giving can still be a love language, but at what, at what budget, at what price and when? So
Yeah. Here's a question that I wish I had asked you maybe even years ago. And that kind of along that same line. It's like, let's say that there was a disagreement, and I'm totally owning this, is that like I was never good at bringing up when there was something I didn't know or something that like totally like blew something out of the water. How would you have rather me ask about some kind of weird charge that didn't really match up with our money expectations?
I don't know, actually. I mean, I think. Okay. I think the way you came at it is it was normally not a good time. And you came at it with like a direct question where it's like, maybe I just finished work or something. And you're like, hey, what is this charge, XYZ? Where I think if you open it up soft and are like, hey, can you have a minute? Could we discuss this or that? Instead of, you were in the moment and in the mindset of money at that moment, but I was not. And you have to like bring me there first, I think is.
Yeah. So like, hey, when you get a minute, when you can get your head in the right space, like, do you want to have a little chat about finances, or you want to look at a couple of transactions that I was just curious about?
Yeah.
It's tough because I've done that too. Like I've done that so many times where it's like, the fuck is this?
Wait, I feel like as someone who might be the spender, someone's like, hey, if you want to, are you open to a conversation about spending in this charge that I saw? Someone's like, oh, no problem. How about 10 minutes? We gotcha. Like, it sounds so perfect. It's not going to happen though. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, get me the fuck out of here. So it's like, I think that I think that's where a third party does have to come in a lot of the time. Or, you know what? I think, I don't know if anyone uses like QuickBooks or anything like that, but I think that's the kind of stuff that can kind of like pop up too, that can always end up helping. And I think like knowing even at the end of a certain period of time, like QuickBooks can kind of show you like where money went to, like whether it was going to be, pizza in restaurants, or whether it's going to be shoes or clothes for Robbie. But that's like I think we're spending too much here. Do we know why? That's what I would think would be a solution, but that's my thoughts.
Time to run. Yeah. So when I first hired the money manager guy, I had him running all of our personal accounts for a while to start getting a gauge of like the money, where all the money was going. And so a lot of times, and he helped me actually. He would ask me these questions about charges. He'd be like, well, what is this? And I'd be like, I don't know. That was on my wife's account. Let me ask her. And I was able to word it in a way that was like, hey, so Joel's doing this, and he was just curious, like, and so it made the conversation a little easier. And I think over time, yeah, it's gotten a little better for sure. A wish farm. Items we were saving towards and grossing. Yeah, see, that's kind of what I was talking about. Is like essentially like creating a savings account, a bucket, a wish farm, whatever you want to call it. Like we're looking at, like I was just dropping some notes to my wife about, some repairs I'm getting closer and closer to wanting to do around the house. Main thing is remodeling our bathroom downstairs to actually have a shower in it, because it's a very big bathroom for just being a powder bathroom, and a shower downstairs would just be that much better. Like when her parents are staying over, they stay downstairs. When I leave in the morning or I'm awake in the morning, I don't have to wake her up. My daughter is starting to wake up early. I don't know if I told you about that big win, but Brooklyn wakes up at 5 a.m. now to shower. But she goes in and wait, and she showers in our bathroom, and there's no door in between our bathroom and our bedroom. So when Amy's trying to sleep in till 6, they had a little bad moment this Monday or whatever, because Brooklyn rocked in and started showering. So shower downstairs.
She's not waking up and be like, okay, what does Ryan Holiday have to tell me today, Dad?
No, she's not yet.
Kira kind of broke into that thinking the other day for band camp. She came home she was playing a piece of music on her phone that the orchestra was trying to play. And she was like, Dad, ask me some questions about this music. And I was like, well, there's a start. So I'm hoping that maybe bleeds into other areas of whatever the heck we do during the day or other things. Or maybe even she'll become interested in what we talk about every morning. We'll see. I don't know. These are just hopes. Seeds that have been planted that maybe will grow into something beautiful. So, gentlemen, I have to go. I have to feed children. They're getting feral and loud, and they're going back to watching Frozen. So, I enjoyed this. We should do daily Dads After Dark more often.
I'm just waiting on you guys, dude. I'm always here. I always have been.
Let's shoot for once a week. I
I'm
think
also
that's
just not, you know,
I think-
I have the privilege of just not being home, so I can do this shit.
I think it just needs to be scheduled because we always said we're going to do it. And then it'll be like, okay, next week. That never gave anyone clarity on when to show up. So we got
There's only one of us.
we need like a monster truck announcer style of what we talk about next week. But
There's only one of us who has a pretty regular schedule here, so I think it's the rest of us figuring it out.
See, it's already happening. No one scheduled anything.
Well, let's just start the next episode right now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dad's After Dark.
I want to have Drew on, though. I want to hear it from the different point of view of, like he said, brown parents. Savings is ingrained into us. Like I know that line, but again, that was not my parents. Like I think my dad a little bit, he tried, but like I said, I wasn't giving him the credit. And I think the other day I told him, I'm like, dude, I should have listened to you like so many times.
Well, can we come into a chat either how about next week, Monday or Tuesday? And have
Mondays are I don't know where the fuck. Let me get back to you.
It's
Do we
happening.
have to do it on air? Do you have to do it on air because you want receipts? You want to be able to, like, you want to have Drew like be able to be your witness?
Show up on Monday. Be there. Well, anyway, this is what I was gonna say. I'm gonna come
I
in
can do
with
Monday.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna bring 3 things in from this conversation that I did during the week. I'm gonna share this with you guys.
Okay.
Wait,
Right
right now?
now?
Text. Right now?
Or Monday.
I was kind of hoping Monday, but I mean, if you want
okay.
it now, I guess I'll try.
Sorry, I thought
No,
no.
go
you
ahead.
no, 'cause
He's gonna listen to this whole hour and 13 minutes back, and he's gonna transcribe it, and he's gonna come up with 3 bangers. And yeah, we're gonna circle back to that on Monday. So everybody look alive for the post, the comment, the tweet, the whatever, and we will be back.
Monday. We did it. We scheduled it.
Yay! Schedules. We're adulting. Okay, cool.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta do
guys.
bedtime.
Have a good
All right,
night. Bye, Sloan.
Bye.
No.
Okay.
I want
See
to
you
say
guys.
bye.
Say bye quick. Say it.
We can hear you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well,
Oh, see you guys. I was just trying to put on some music to play it out, but you know. Oh, don't forget, we have a show in the morning. Come join us tomorrow if you can still hear me. Join us tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. Pacific, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. It's called Daily Dads. Oh man, love you guys.